Good morning, my friends.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Jason LeVasseur, and you are in the workshop called The Importance of Being Selfish. And I am holding my phone because I'm putting it on airplane mode. Because I'm fully dedicated to this moment we have together. But I'm also going to put my clock on so that I don't keep you longer than you want to be here. Right there, so I know exactly what to do and how much time I have. Thank you for taking time out of your morning to be here. Thank you for bringing your students. If you are a student, thanks for just taking a chance on an advisor session. That's really cool that you're here. Before we get started, I gotta tell you a story about summer camp. So I'm a summer camp counselor in the summer. I work at a camp in Maine, and last summer was my 33rd year, and I'm the program director now. But I started as a homesick 9-year-old, and I've worked my way up through the ranks of a counselor in Maine. I had multiple jobs, and now I have my very own clipboard. Like, I feel very special. And it's actually the same clipboard that's going around the room, and I'm getting everyone to sign in so that we can keep in touch post-conference. More importantly, I want to help you keep in touch with each other. Right? One of my big missions always is to help folks that are attending something. If it's your students at a conference, if it's you at a conference. One of the big takeaways from this conference is that you make connections with other advisors across the country. Right, so that you can share ideas, that if you're in a situation on your campus and you're not exactly sure what to do, you can reach out to somebody from somewhere else in the world. And I think that's very important, that we make those genuine connections, because then it helps us feel connected and less alone. And that is something that's very important for our own personal health and wellness, that we find that community. David is not me, I'm Jason. David was a 10-year-old camper who came to camp a few summers ago. And his counselors told me this funny story about David, because he was dropped off on Wednesday by his parents, and it's an overnight camp. It's a residential camp. We are on a lake. There's no electricity. We have screens for windows. Birds on the lake make funky noises. There are critters in the woods. It's a weird place. Kids are scared, and David was not different than any other 10-year-old who'd never been to summer camp before. But on the first morning at camp, the morning bell rings, and the bell rings at 7:15 in the morning, and the entire camp wakes up at the same time. And camp is awesome and fun, and we're all glad to be there. David's first morning. The morning bell rings, and David sits up in his bed, and he goes, "It's the best Thursday of the whole week." And some of the other kids in the cabin are like, David, it's the only Thursday. And he's like, "Yes! And that's what makes it the best Thursday of the whole week." And the counselors are like, pull blankets over there. It's like, "We got a special one this summer." Okay? So, same thing happens on Friday morning. The morning bell rings, and David's the first one to speak. "Best Friday of the whole week!" And this time a couple other kids giggle, and then a couple repeat it, but there's still those that are like, "Dude," right? The counselors are like, "Okay, this is cool now," right? That night, the counselors decide, there's 3 of them, and they're all college students in this particular cabin, and they decide that on Saturday morning, they're going to say it. They're going to say it before David does, so they collude, and they plan, and right when the morning bell rings, the 3 counselors sit up in their beds, they go, "Best Saturday of the whole week!" And now every kid in the cabin is just giggling and laughing and celebrating that it's Saturday, and they're like super excited, and it's contagious. Those counselors start telling other counselors, and then later that day, I hear about it on Saturday. Other counselors do it in their cabins on Sunday morning, so now the entire camp is starting to be like, "Hey, how's it going?" Everyone's like, "Best Sunday of the whole week." And it's a really fun attitude. Monday morning, I'm standing in front of the entire camp with my clipboard. As the program director, I come up with the activities for the day, and I assign the counselors their duties. But I also ask all the counselors that they sell their activities, that they promote their activities and sell it to the campers. And they make these big announcements, and they're grandiose. But they included that message on Monday morning, which I wasn't expecting. Right? And camp is already a fun place. Right? There's already an energy in camp. But that Monday morning, when those counselors were making their announcements, and everybody included, "Best Monday of the whole week!" It was just this crazy cacophony of little cheers, right? Of voices together. And it was just awesome and amazing. And we had an amazing summer of celebrating every day, right? And I share that story with you because I want you to know that I want us to have the best Saturday of the whole week today. Like, I want us to have the best Saturday of the whole week. So if you would say with me, thank you. So I'm going to count down from 3 to whenever we get there. And together, collectively, we will best Saturday this day. Can I get it right yet?
Oh, yeah.
3, 2, 1. Best Saturday of the whole week! Yes, that's awesome. And why do I share this story also is because this entire camp was moved by one little voice. Right? It was one little person in one cabin full of other 10-year-olds, and he inspired that cabin, and then that cabin inspired the whole camp. Nobody knew his name on Wednesday, and by Monday he had changed the tone of the whole camp. Right? That's the power of what he did. So I really want to, I want to celebrate your voice, the power that you have, because you're not an unknown 10-year-old. You've got a whole group of students who really look up to you. You've got staff members on your campus and faculty and advisors that you work with who really listen to you and respect you and look up to you. Right? And I want us to really understand how important we are to the groups of people that are our mentees, right, our students. But I also, more importantly, I want to celebrate you and really instill in you the need to just put yourself first. Right? I know that you're like, oh, I like this maybe. Or you're like, he's going to tell me to be selfish, which I am in a second. And we're going to talk about that. And how important that is. But how powerful you are. And the more that you take care of yourself, the brighter you're going to shine for other people. Right? But I want you to put yourself first. And that's the whole point of us being together today. Actually, I have two sort of missions. Is to connect you to each other and connect you to this idea that you need to. I'm Dr. Rock and Roll telling you. I know I've been talking about being a camp counselor, but I'm also a drummer and a guitar player who happens to live in Nashville, Tennessee, who has happened to, I also have happened to have won 23 awards for performance. Most recently, Entertainer of the Year. You didn't see me on stage this weekend because my guitar is just resting. It's resting. But I'm always on tour. Anyway, enough about me. So let's celebrate you, but before we do this, everybody take out a pen or find a place to take notes, because you may hear things in this workshop that you want to repeat to other people who you love in your life. And I really think it's important that we get some takeaways from everything. You can pass it to the other side. So the clipboard's going to keep coming around. Please just your name and your school and your email. It's going to be on that list. Then I'm going to ask you to write down 3 things. This is for yourself. However you choose to write this down, nobody else is going to see it, but you're going to know what you're writing, okay? But it's important that you do write it down because I want you to really dig into this. The first one is, what is a healthy behavior that you are doing on the regular? What is something that you're doing for yourself right now that you know is just good for you? And I don't know what's legal in Minnesota, and so you get to decide what it is that you're doing that's good for you. Okay? I'm not gonna tell you what it is. A healthy behavior, and some of you I see aren't writing it. So it could be you drink a lot of water. You've been getting great sleep, right? You walk your dogs every day. Like, think about a healthy behavior that you think is healthy. Something that you know that you take care of yourself every day, and this is a healthy behavior on the regular, at least a few times a week. Second category, what is a healthy behavior that you would like to start doing more of? What is a healthy behavior that you've been getting? Maybe you had a New Year's resolution. Maybe it lasted 10 days. What is a healthy behavior you'd like to start doing more of? Hey, welcome. Come on in. You make us better. So the question that I'm asking of everybody to write down right now is, what is a healthy behavior that you're doing regularly? And the second thing is, what is a healthy behavior you want to start doing more of? Pretty please. And if you've gotten the second thing written down, can I see everybody go like this a little bit? Nice, nice, nice. All right. Hey, y'all, there's some seats up front. Yeah, come on up. And this is better because I'll be throwing money later, so you have a better chance of catching it. Yeah, yeah. All right, and the third thing, please write down, what is something that brings you joy? That was great. Hello. Welcome to this workshop. Yeah. So what we're writing down now, we're writing down 3 things. One, the first thing is something that we're doing that's healthy in our lives. Second thing is something we want to start doing more often, a healthy behavior that we'd like to incorporate into our lives more often. And the third thing is something that brings us joy. And of course, it could be the same thing as your first category, right? It could also, those could be connected. But what is something that you can actively do that elevates your spirits? And let's keep it legal just for the sake of this. Right? I don't know from whence you cometh, perhaps your state. I don't know, it's been fun being here, and some folks who live in Minnesota are like, oh yeah, I'm just going to, and it's so openly spoken about. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go buy some gummies. I'm like, I can't say that in Tennessee. That's where I live. Like, you're just gonna go buy some, oh yeah, it's just like in the corner store. Wow. Yeah, I gotta come. Where are you from?
Well, I'm in Alaska now.
You are?
How
fun.
Yeah, it's basically exactly like here. If you walk here in the blizzard.
Right, yeah, today you felt like you were at home.
Yeah.
All right. One of the things I definitely said earlier is that I want us to help make connections with each other. So, in honor of us being together in this beautiful place, in this beautiful conference center, I would like for you to make a new bestie today. What this means is we're going to do a little activity, and when I ask you to, I would like you to find somebody in this room you have never spoken to before. Never ever in your life spoken to before. Now, some of you are like, please don't make me do this. No, but we have to learn to model behavior for our students. And if we want our students to meet new people, we also need to learn to be comfortable with this. And I understand, I promise you this it's a safe activity. Because you already know what you're going to talk about with this person you've never spoken to before. You're going to share your name, your institution, and maybe your job title, but then the things you wrote down. You've already written them down. So I'm not putting any of you on the spot in this conversation. I would like you to meet somebody you've never talked to before, look them in the eye, meet them, and then share these 3 things. Now, here's a very important thing. I'm asking you to meet one other person. I want you to have a one-on-one conversation with somebody, but more important than that, I don't want you to leave anybody out. So if there's a person wandering and is alone, groups of 3, that's fine. Right? We want to make sure that everybody feels included and connected in this workshop. So when I ask you to come, it means that everyone will stand, unless you're lucky and you're sitting next to somebody you've never spoken to. But standing is good. Disrupted sitting is good. Right? So if you're ever doing workshops with students, incorporate disrupted sitting into your event. Right? Because it sparks the brain. It's movement. It's an energizer. So I know that it's early morning and I see your faces and you're all so beautiful, but I also know that you're like, last night I watched Netflix till 2 a.m. and it was awesome. I had a hotel room and I had a pillow fight with myself. All right, so I'm going to say go, and this means everyone's going to go and engage with a human you've never met before, and I would like you to share those things I asked you and the things that you now know you're going to talk about. So if anybody's like worried about this and you're like, I hope I don't forget anything, and like the first thing is I don't remember my name, just ask them to read your name to us, right? Okay, can I get an oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
Best Saturday of the whole week?
Best Saturday of the whole week.
All right, go make a friend. Thank you.
Do you want to get up or do you want to? All right, cool. I'm Sarah.
This was so cool for me because when I first asked you all to go meet somebody new, there was a general, like, the entire room was like, right? You were looking at me like, dude, too early. But how cool is it that after you started engaging with each other, and you met everybody was smiling, the body language is totally different from when I asked you to like go do this activity. You're like, oh, right? But now you're like, I met a new bestie, right? And it's so cool because this is what we need to do. We need to make these connections, and it needs to be facilitated sometimes. We need to help our students make these connections. If we need help, they need help too, right? Who would like to share something that you learned about your new bestie? Yeah, thank you. In the blue hat, what's your name and where are you from?
Hi, I am Nicole Sandoval, and we're traveling from the Upper Peninsula.
Oh, wow.
Michigan, if anyone's been there, very close to Canada, very similar weather. And this is my new friend Joe. And then are we sharing one of the questions?
Yeah, sure. Just anything you want to share about Joe.
Okay. Well, Joe would like to start drinking more water for health. Maybe start reading some more books, and then also most important thing would be family.
What was the last one?
Most important thing would be family.
Oh, that's awesome, thank you. I have drummer ear. I've spent most of my career also playing drums, so the cymbals have always been here, and I bang on them, and I've lost a little bit of my brain. All right, thank you. So how many of you know that you need to drink more water? You're not alone, my people. Start the Drinking Water Club. Thank you so much for sharing. Who else wants to share something about your new friend? Yeah, Alan.
Yeah, so what is the health and behavior that we want to start doing? And we both said just the gym. We want to be the healthiest version of ourselves. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Is there a specific thing that you would like to start doing?
Going.
Going to the gym. Awesome. Raise your hand if you'd like to go to the gym more often.
I would like
Oh my gosh, we start another club. And this is important to bring it out there because you're not alone. So it is also, might be your new accountability partner. So before we leave this room, I want to make sure that you exchange emails with each other. But here's the fun thing. I'll have everyone's email, and with your permission, I'm going to send one group email.
Yeah.
So that you all have each other's emails, and I'll try to make it so that it's in a file that you can see the name of the school, et cetera, so that you all know that you have this thing in common, that you were in this workshop together, and you all have this goal about being more selfish. And right? Amen. Who else would like to share something about? Yes, in the back row.
Woo!
Tell me about your friend.
So this is Roxanne. She's from Texas. She goes to dance class once a week.
Oh,
And
fun.
does like, what was it, 2000s like week last week or something. Super fun. I want to do that. So I'm gonna like go look.
Oh, that's so cool. So you
And see
do
where I am.
something. This is really important. This is a great example for all of us. You've purposefully chosen to do something outside of your work that is healthy and brings you joy.
Yes.
Right? And that's obviously very purposeful. And because it's a class, it's on your calendar. Right? And because it's a class on your calendar, it's like a doctor's appointment, and you don't miss it.
Yes.
Right? Because it's. I hope it's a non-negotiable. Is it a non-negotiable for you? Can we make
Yes,
it a
because if I
non-negotiable?
cancel last minute, I get charged. Yep. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I love that. That's
Yeah.
a great way to do it. But look, even just talking about it makes me smile because you're smiling, and the mirror neurons in our brain, I just feel like dancing right now.
I know. Put on a
Okay,
song.
one more share. One more share. Thank you so much.
This is Christian.
Yeah.
I'm from, my name is Ray. I'm from New Mexico. He likes to wake up early in the morning and walk the skyline. And I didn't even know that was a thing. So I think my students are going to be really upset with me that they could have walked through buildings.
Oh, that's so cool. So that's something you're doing here. Or is
Yeah,
your...
so I actually live 2 blocks away in the apartment buildings, and so every morning I get up about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I walk around and go to different coffee shops and stuff.
Oh, how fun. That's great. And is that, it's every day?
Yep, as best as
Oh,
possible.
you're our role model for us. Who art thou, amazing Christian? We will attend your church.
How many cups of coffee do you end up drinking in the morning?
Usually 1 to 2.
Cool. All right, y'all. So here's what I'd like you to do. We'll go back to our seats, but look at your new friend and just look them in the eye and say, I respect you. And I'm so glad that we're
I'm gonna look up Rhode Island dance classes right now.
Awesome. So let's keep that clipboard going around so that we do get everyone's contact info for this group, our new club of healthy dance behavior. This is great. So I've been able to do a whole lot in my career and in my life. I have 2 children, 2 teenage daughters. I've been lucky enough to work at a summer camp. I've released 13 albums, won 23 awards, and I love my staff at camp, and I love the students that I work with on the campuses. And one of the things that I was able to learn along the way is that I had to remove myself from the people I love in order to show up for them as my best self. Right? When would I have ever had time to write a song if I wasn't selfish? Right? And I use the word selfish so that you remember. Right? I started a hashtag called the Selfish Mentor, and I use it every once in a while. So it's hashtag Selfish Mentor because I realize, and I say this to my summer camp staff, is that they are mentors to other people, and it's really important that we always understand that there's folks watching our behavior. But I want us to be reminded that those folks are watching us and that we're modeling behavior, but that it's really important that you prioritize your own health and wellness. because you love your students so much, because you love your family so much, you will show up more brightly for them when you remove yourself from them. And you take care of yourself and you do the things that you want to do. Right? I'm so excited that you acknowledged this morning the first thing that you wrote down, the healthy behavior. Because just by saying that, I already know that you care about yourself. Right? At least I know that you care about yourself. So psyched that you care about you. Right? I'm psyched. What was the thing? What was your first category? What was the?
My first thing was just connecting with like the people that are important to me in my life. So like I talk to my parents once in a while. Like I'm in college
Awesome.
now, but
And
I'm
that,
not
and
around
that
them all
brings,
the time. Yeah.
nice, awesome, thank you. Kick booty. Right? So I already know that everybody here, because I saw you writing, and then you did this, so I knew that you wrote down something that you're doing healthy, but I also know that you all acknowledged that you have a growth mindset. Because you said there's something you'd like to improve upon. You admitted it, and then you talked about it with your new bestie. Right? So that is really worth celebrating. That you know that you're progressing, that you have goals, that there's things you want to improve upon. Right? And that's a really awesome mindset to have. Right? That we all know that we're not perfect specimen, and the phrase that I like to use is progress, not perfection. And to compare myself to myself yesterday and not to other people. Right? There's always going to be somebody that goes to the gym more than me. There's always going to be somebody that writes more songs than me. There's always going to be somebody who can twirl more drumsticks than me. Right? But if I compare myself to me, it's a much healthier relationship. Right? So I would like you to start thinking about that. Is start thinking about what behaviors can you do today to make tomorrow better for you, not for anybody else. Drink water, right? Go to the gym. Like we are going to create a long list of things that we want to do, but you've created one for yourself. Right? And what I'm here to do is to give you permission as the doctor of rock and roll, because that's, I think in terms of bands, I think in terms of music, I love listening to music. Like going to bed, waking up this morning in the shower, I had my favorite Scottish rock band playing while I was taking a shower. I don't know if my neighbors in the hotel heard it, but if they did, lucky for them, right? But it's understanding that purposeful self-care, that purposeful things that you know that are going to elevate you, is that you do them every single day, or at least you make a plan for it. At least you make a plan for it, right? If you've got a meeting with a student and it's on your calendar, are you going to miss that? No, you're not going to miss that because you're dedicated to it. If you've got a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment or something that you've made a meeting with, are you going to miss that? Maybe, right? Right, but really those are genuinely things that you know that you have to show up for. But I want you to show up for yourself. Because the more you show up for yourself, the better you're going to serve your community. Right? That's the idea of the selfish mentor. And again, I use the word selfish, not because I want you to be selfish at the expense of others, but so that you are selfish, so that you remember what I'm talking about. I use that word very purposefully, because selfish has negative connotations. One who is selfish is selfish. It has negative connotations, but it's memorable. Right? And that's why I'm using it. Right? You're not selfish at the expense of others. You're actually selfish in the service of others. Right? Because the more that you take care of yourself, the more brightly you will shine tomorrow. When you look at what you did yesterday, your behaviors yesterday, how did they impact you today? Right? Just a show of hands. Thank you for your honesty in answering this question. Show of hands. How many of you did not get enough sleep last night? Right? You look around the room. It's most of us, right? Now I'll ask you, whose choice was that? Right? We are given these choices. So what can we do? So here, like, we make these decisions, and I'm not judging anybody for this because it may be the first time you've thought this way. How your behavior impacts the way you feel today. But I only want you to look forward. Right? Don't be mad at yourself for not getting enough sleep last night, but what can you do today that's going to be a little different so that tomorrow you're more on it. You shine more brightly for yourself and for others. Right? But you're taking responsibility for that behavior. This could be a 4-hour workshop because we really could get into like calendar planning, but we were only given 45 minutes here at NACA, which is awesome that we even get to spend this time together. Right? You are to be selfish mentors. You already are mentors, but I want you to become selfish mentors so that you're thinking about how you're taking care of yourself every day, or at least you're putting it on your schedule for every day. So what I'm going to challenge you right now to do, the second thing on your list that you said that you want to improve upon, your self-improvement thing, what's the thing that's standing in the way? Like, and you can write down an answer, or for the sake of time, I'm not gonna give you that time to write it down. I just want to get the most extroverted people who are trying to raise their hands anyway. But I will say this, anytime you're asking for someone to brainstorm or come up with an answer to something, I recommend that you give everyone time to process the question. This is a good takeaway. This is a good takeaway for any meeting that you have with your students. You provide pens and paper at the beginning of a meeting, and you give them time to process the question you're asking. Hey everybody, we're gonna have a Valentine's Day party. Could everybody please write for 2 minutes about what you think we should have at the Valentine's Day party? And your students write those down, and then you can see that everyone's got an answer. That's very different from what I just did. Right? It goes, hey everybody, what should we do for Valentine's Day party? And then you stare at your audience. Right? And then we have one person who raised their hand. Right? So, what was the question that I asked? What is stopping you from doing it? So, again, now I've taken time away from our workshop to talk about this idea of giving time to process the question, which is clearly the distractions of a drummer. Okay, what is the thing that's keeping you from doing the thing? Water quality. You want to drink more water, but you don't have good water? Okay, so what can you do? I mean, I guess this is a very specific one. So what can you do to make sure that you're drinking more water? Buy a lot of water, yeah. I mean, I don't mean to make you spend money on water, but yeah, if you know that water is the thing that makes you feel good, it's worth that money, right? It's worth that. I know sometimes it's expensive to get the water out of the machines, but if that's the thing that's going to elevate you and make you feel good, that's super important. Let's prioritize that. That's where your money should be spent. Okay, thank you. What was my question before I got distracted? Right, what's keeping you from doing that second thing on your list? Miles.
I'll say I'm in 2 different roles at the same time. So I'm a hall director and I'm a coordinator for student life. So that is really what kind of throws me up, because my hall director job is kind of 24/7, and my coordinator for student life is like 8 to 4:30. So
cool. And look, just anybody else in the room just overwhelmed with all the responsibilities at work? Right? We got a lot of hands up, okay? So I'm here to tell you that you are going to dedicate time to yourself every week. So here's what we're gonna do. In your second category, just say to yourself, so you know what we're talking about when I say this, I wanna know, I'm gonna call on everybody, when are you going to do that thing that you said you want to do? Right now, I want you to think about this next week. When are you gonna do it? And I want specifics, because we're gonna add it to our calendar. And if it's drink more water, it means that maybe, I mean, that's sort of a vague one, but maybe it means that we're gonna go buy a water bottle at Target, and every morning we're gonna fill that up, and before lunch we're gonna finish it, and by dinner we're gonna finish it. Like, so we have a very specific plan. Right? So you're all staring back at me, but I really want you to think about this. When, and I'm gonna call on you randomly, so you must come up with an answer. When are you gonna do the thing that's second on your list? When? You can pull out your phones and look at your calendar. Right? If it's go to the gym, Alan and Mr. Coleman, right? Is W your first name? Coleman. It's Coleman. Okay, you got it. You got the. It's cool. It's very debonair, right? W. Coleman. Yeah. So when are you going to go to the gym? Okay, this is what I'm asking you. I'm putting you on the spot because I'm going to call you next Friday. I'm like, how did it go? And you're like, who is this? I'm like, the drummer dude, right? Right? What is the thing second on your list? What was the second thing on your list?
Go to the gym.
Go to the gym.
Yep.
When are you going to go?
So I am going to go in between, during the lunch break that I have. It's a 2-hour lunch break. So I have enough time there that I can do it.
Cool.
On Mondays and Wednesdays.
On Mondays and Wednesdays?
Yes.
Cool. Do you have your phone here? Do you use your calendar?
I don't.
You don't use your calendar. Okay. Are you going to go before you eat or after you eat?
I usually don't eat lunch.
Okay.
So that's why I
What time are you going to go?
So I am going to go at 11:30.
But I want everyone, this is what I'm asking all of you to do. When are you going to go? Monday?
Monday.
At 11:30.
Wednesday at 11:30 to 12:30.
Okay.
Yes.
What are you, Monday and Wednesday. Hey, I've got some friends that we're meeting at noon on Wednesday for lunch. Do you want to join us?
I can't go to the gym.
Yes! That was awesome. That's the answer I wanted. Yes, because you have an appointment. You already have something on your calendar. You're booked. Right? And it's not my place to ask you what you're doing. Like, you're like, no, I can't, but I can meet you at 12:40, right? This is how important it is that you unequivocally and without reservation prioritize that second thing on your list. Right? I'm going to put somebody else on the spot. Who's ready to be put on the spot? You are. Awesome. Great, thank you. Right. And I'm doing this from a place of love. Right? It might seem like I'm yelling, but I'm just excited because I know how much of an impact you're going to have in the world and how great you're going to feel about yourself when you really commit to the things that you want to do, because you will feel better next Friday looking back on the week going like, shoot, I did that thing twice. Because I've been talking about it for 7 years, but I actually did it. I actually did it. Vernon.
Yeah, so mine is exercise more, so set my alarm at 4:45 a.m., get up, get ready to roll at 5, and roll downstairs to do a little push-up, sit-up, walking situation. We've had treadmill at the house, which is
that's great.
Blessed to have that. So my excuses are zero, and excuses me are lazy.
Well, that's good. I'm
So I
glad
have
you
to set my alarm
yeah.
to do it.
Right, and there are things that you can do, like in this situation, there are things that you can do to make it a lot easier. There are barriers at 4:45 from doing the thing that you want to do today that you might not do tomorrow or Monday. And those barriers are like your shoes are over in the other room, or you're wearing your pajamas. One of the things that I've learned is that people that go to bed in their running clothes, the number of times they run increases. So when you prepare the morning the night before, so if you sleep in your workout clothes,
I'm not gonna do that, but I'll have it out.
Yeah, have it out ready, so that you're not searching through the drawers in the morning. Right? So when are you going to start this?
Tomorrow. Well, when I get home.
When you get home, Monday.
So I get home this Saturday night. I'll be rolling Monday morning.
That's awesome. How many days a week can you do that?
I'm gonna do that Monday through Friday.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Weekend just to chill, because I've had young ones. I got a 2-year-old son.
Yeah.
So I don't want to cut into family time, so I'm gonna give up a little sleep. I'm gonna go to bed a little earlier.
Yes, you are going to have to go to bed earlier. You don't have to give up on sleep. You have to commit to yourself and your own. Like, all right, give Vernon a round of applause. Jason, you make this sound so simple. No, I'm really, I want you to commit to this, right? That's why we're here. We need to have a takeaway from today. One more share. Yes, thank you, Amanda.
I want to go on more walks.
Okay.
And I tend to go, oh, I'm an action coordinator, oh, I don't look close to her. So I'm going to take a 10-minute walk this week during my lunch break around campus.
That's awesome. Amanda, thank you. You're in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And it's, it might be wintry still, right?
I have a coat.
You have a coat, perfect. So that's not an excuse, right? That was great. You were like, you countered my argument for not going for a walk. What time will you go?
So I'm really bad about taking my lunch break because I like to skip, students like to skip a meeting during that time. So at some point between 11 and 1, I will take 10 minutes to go outside and go for a walk.
All right, I love you, so I'm going to put you on the spot. During your lunch break, whose lunch break is it? Right. And it's your lunch break. It's not time for your students to schedule meetings with you. They've got a much more wide open schedule than you do. They can come meet you some other time. Your lunch break is sacred. Right? Your lunch break is you time. And you're like, but Jason, I love my students. My door's always open, right? Amanda, what time are you going to walk?
I'm going to walk at noon.
Thank you. What days are you going to walk?
Monday through Friday.
Nice. Can you set an alarm on your phone?
I can.
Would you do it right now?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm actually putting on my calendar, so that's just
Good. Yeah. So you block off that time, right? On your calendar, students are like, if they go to like, maybe in your signature you've got meet with me, and your calendar's there. You go in there and you block off your time. And I can't see what you're doing in that hour. It's none of my business, right? But it's sacred time that you have committed to yourself because you want to be happier with yourself. You want to feel good about you. And the more you do the things that matter to you and the things that you want to accomplish, I promise you're just going to start feeling better. And you're going to smile bigger for the people who you love. You really, truly will. So thank you for letting me put you on the spot. Thank you for letting me put you on the spot. Thank you for letting me put you on the spot. Right? I know we don't have time to do everybody. I wish we had a weekend together, right? So we could come out with this. But I really, don't just listen to this and walk out and be like, oh, that was a good idea, right? Commit to that second category. And commit to the third category. You're already doing the first one. Congratulations. Do more of it. The third thing, that thing that brings you joy, that thing that elevates you, right? That thing that just makes you happy. Do more of that, purposefully, in your schedule. And some of you are like, Jason, but I don't have time. Okay, well, I'm going to give you this gift here. How many of you have social media accounts? Raise your hand. All right, I'm not going to say that it's a waste of time, but how many hours a day do you think, and you get to decide what this means, how many hours a day do you waste? Okay, no, just, this is, remember, I'm not judging you. This is coming from a place of love. How many hours a day do you think that you waste? And you could consider watching Netflix a waste of time, because maybe you're watching things that you'll forget. Maybe scrolling on TikTok and Instagram. Do you really remember what you saw yesterday? Right? Okay, so who would like to share how many hours a day they waste? Thank you.
2 hours.
2 hours. 0. It's not because you're not on it.
Yeah.
It's because you're purposefully.
Same.
0? You waste no time.
On social media? No.
Oh, okay.
None.
No, it's not about social media.
Oh.
No, this is, that was just something I was asking.
Oh.
But because a lot of people think about wasting time on social media. How much time a day do you waste? Where you're doing something that you actually wasn't, like, not planned and doesn't make you a better person, doesn't make you a better version of you, you're not accomplishing your goals. How many hours a day do you waste? 2? Anybody else willing to share?
3 to 5.
3 to 5? Okay. All right, Emma, you're nodding. What is it?
Probably 4.
4 to 5 hours a day? Okay, that's great. Thank you for your honesty. All right? Anybody else at 2? Raise your hand if you think of about 2 hours a day. 1. Anybody at 1? Anybody 3? 3 hours a day? All right, a lot of you aren't even raising your hands. Are we at 4 hours a day? Yeah. All right, more hands went up. 4 hours a day of what you consider to be wasted time. Anybody 5 or more a day? Okay, thank you for your honesty. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you this gift of this idea. Right? I'm going to use my phone. I'm going to use the calculator. And I'm going to do it based on 2. So anybody that thinks they waste more than 2 hours a day, have fun with this. 2 times 7 equals 14. 14 times 52 equals 728. This is just based on 2 hours a day. So this is 728 hours a year that you've wasted. This is just based on 2. Some of you said 4 or 5, right? I'm going to say, and I'm going to generalize, that we all need 8 hours of sleep a night. I know we're all different, but I'm going to say, generally, let's pretend we have 16 hours in our day. Let's pretend we have 16 hours in our day. Okay? So based on 16 hours, and the number that I have on my phone, 728, we're about to find, just based on the 2-hour number, how many days of your life you think that you're wasting. 728 divided by 16 equals 45 days of your living life in a year. That's a month and a half. You waste a month and a half of your life, not based on anything I said, this is based on your thing, and some of you said 3 or more, so some of you might be wasting 2 or 3 months of your year, but not wasting, I'm saying, but now tell me that you don't have time to do the second thing on your list. Tell me that you don't have time to go to the gym. Tell me that you can't go for that 10-minute walk. You have a month and a half just based on 2 hours a day. I just gifted it to you. You're welcome. Some of you are like, shit. But here's the thing. Don't. If anybody's down on themselves, it doesn't matter. Compare yourself to who you're trying to be tomorrow. Like whatever you've done up to this point, this is progress, not perfection. Progress, not perfection. Because a lot of people say, I don't have time. But you just told me that you're wasting significant hours, right? And this is maybe how I've been able to, that way of thinking has really helped me, right? But do I still scroll on Instagram? TikTok? Absolutely. But I set a timer. I set a 15-minute timer every time I do it. I use the technology to help me because I'm not smart enough to control the technology. There are people who are making $1 gazillion, psychologists who are writing programs to keep us on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and Netflix, right? At the end of the show, do you want to watch another? Of course I do, right? But you have to make the rules about who's going to be in charge of your life, right? And this is why I want you to be the selfish, self-centered, not self-centered, Selfish mentor. But I want to read to you something. I asked a bunch of advisors at one point, oh, hey, this is cool. Could you hear me before? All right, so here's things that I'm going to quote my friends, my advisor friends, who I've spoken with. I'm quoting. I've got a list of quotes, and maybe you'll see something in you in these. I am dedicated to my students. I have an open door policy. I'm here for you whenever you need me. I'll do whatever it takes to help you out. Call me anytime. Stop in whenever it's convenient for you. I'm a people person. I love helping others. I often put others' needs before my own. I'm happy when you're happy. I don't care. Let's do what you want to do. I got into student affairs because I love helping students. I'm a people person. Let's watch what you want to watch. Let me get that for you. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I'm a people person. I love helping others. I'm here for you. I'm here to serve. I'm selfless. I am selfless. I am selfless. I want you to be selfish. Right? So those are all quotes from advisors who I've talked to. Right? And if it triggers any of you and you're like, oh, I said that. It's because you're a loving human. It's because you really, really are. Like the fact that you're an advisor, you are the greatest human on the planet, right? But, I want this next week to be better than last week. I want this next month to be better than last month. I want this next year to be better than last year, so that you are really taking great care of yourself.
Best Saturday ever!
So now I want to give you a chance. Please make sure you sign. I feel like that's a nice place to stop. We still have 5 minutes, but this will give you all a chance to just connect with your new bestie, and stay in the room for another minute. Exchange emails if you have not yet signed up on this list, and don't hesitate to come talk to me more on this topic. Right? I really believe, and I'm not a perfect human. I'm still working on it myself. Right? What can we do to take care of ourselves so that we are putting ourselves first, right? And I guess I'll give you the idea of the oxygen mask on a plane, right? There's a great visual, a great reminder when the flight attendant comes down and says, in the event of a depressurization of the cabin at 36,000 feet, put the oxygen mask on yourself first. You can't take care of anybody else unless you're taking care of yourself. Okay? And I say this from a place of love, so please be amazing selfish mentors. Thank you for being part of this workshop. Give yourselves another round of applause.